Hello everyone, this is the Storyteller and welcome back to yet another video. What is toxic masculinity? According to crazy feminists like Terry Kupers defines toxic masculinity as the constellation of socially regressive male traits that serve to foster domination, the devaluation of women, homophobia, and wanton violence. Now let's think what she is saying. Socially regressive male traits. Socially regressive. Regressive. What is regressive? Regressive means that something that is harmful to any particular thing. Now, how do you know? How do you know that something that is harmful to society in general? How do you know that somebody's domination is completely harmful to the society? Because here's the thing: good and bad are actually subjective. If a tiger eats a goat, then the tiger gets the nourishment while the goat loses its life. That's what really is domination. A tiger eats the goat, and while it is good for the tiger, it's bad for the goat. And just in the same way, domination can be just described as while it is good for the men, it might be bad for the women. Now, the thing is, I don't think that they are specifically dominated. Women are not specifically dominated in any way today. The reality is, till date, we have always had an interdependent society. Interdependent in means that women take care of the children and men provide them with certain foods and items that they can help the family to raise. But today, this interdependent society's terms have been broken by independent. This is the really root of the problem. Feminism is the root of the whole SJW problem. Feminism has called this phrase called strong independent women. Strong independent women. So what is independent? Independence is actually a hoax. We all know that politically there is no independence. You cannot live independently in any way possible, because whenever a country becomes independent, it comes under various laws, and it creates its own constitutions. Independence is actually a form of dependence over something else, or should I say, being bound by some other laws. So obviously this whole phrase about strong independent women is completely a hoax. Now let's think about what is toxic masculinity, and is it a valid concept? I'm reading from the Psychology Today article. Is toxic masculinity a valid concept? By Gaz Saad, PhD. Homo consumericus. Homo consumericus is a term that is used for capitalist humans. Let's continue on this. The two fundamental objectives in the evolutionary game of life are to first survive. First is survival, and then second is to mate, that is sexual selection. For sexually reproducing species, including humans, evolution has endowed males and females with universal mating preferences that map onto sex-specific recurring challenges faced by each sex during our evolutionary history. Female fiddler crabs and hens prefer males with extravagantly large claws and tails, respectively. Ewes, that is female rams, will mate with the ram that wins the brutal intrasexual headbutting contest. They reward targeted aggression by granting sexual access. The thing is, in all of animal kingdom, the sexual aggression is the real reason of testosterone level, and the testosterone level is the real reason of having babies. That's how it is. The more the testosterone level, the more the sexual aggression, and the more the babies come healthy. But today, people are telling men to be less aggressive. Being less aggressive means your testosterone level will certainly go down. More feminist agenda pours in, and the testosterone level of men will go down because they will be less and less aggressive. Needless to say, there are innumerable other examples of sexual selection that I might describe, but I suspect that you get the general gist. Are rams exhibiting toxic masculinity? No, obviously not. Are female fiddler crabs succumbing to antiquated notions of masculinity as promulgated by the crab patriarchy? No. Let's now apply the exact same evolutionary process, sexual selection, to humans. Evolutionary psychologists have documented universal patterns of mating preferences that are invariant across time and place. In no culture ever studied have women repeatedly preferred to mate with pear-shaped, low-status, tepid men possessing high-pitched nasal voices. High-pitched nasal voices. These kind of men are never preferred in any culture. In no documented culture do women's sexual fantasies revolve around granting sexual access to unemployed, unambitious men who occupy the lowest stratum of the social hierarchy. Instead, women are attracted to toxic masculinity, male phenotypes that correlated with testosterone. Of course, the most successful will have a higher aggression level and a higher testosterone level, and they are the desirous men who are socially dominant, who are strategically risk-taking. Like I've said before, men are the most risk-taking people. Women don't take risks in business. That's why they are lower. Female CEOs are lower in number. But of course, the feminists can understand that they have to push it to the extent that men are oppressing them. No, they are not oppressing them. Women don't take risks. That's the whole problem of this theory. Who are strategically risk-taking in their behaviors and who exhibit patterns of behaviors that will allow them to ascend the social hierarchy and defend their positions from encroachers. Of course, this does not imply that women are not attracted to intelligent, sensitive, kind, warm, and compassionate men. The ideal man is rugged and sensitive. Ideal. The point to be noted is ideal. The ideal thing is actually an imaginary thing. Ideal does not exist. The ideal man is rugged and sensitive, masculine and caring, aggressive in some pursuits and gentle in others. Think of the male archetype in romance novels. This is something that happens again and again in romance novels, and also might I say, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is actually a beta male. Harry Potter is created by a woman. Remember that. And that's why he is a beta male. He is masculine but caring, aggressive in some pursuits and gentle in others. And that's what basically all men written by women are. Think of the male archetype in romance novels, which is a literary form almost exclusively read by women. Yes, romance novels are 90% plus made by women today. Like I've said, the literary fiction world has been taken over by women in the United States and most of the capitalist countries around the world. He is a tall prince and a neurosurgeon. He is a tall prince and a neurosurgeon. He is a risk taker who wrestles alligators and subdues them on his six-pack abs, and yet is sensitive enough to be tamed by the love of a good woman. This archetype is universally found in romance novels read by women in Egypt, Japan, and Bolivia. It means all around the world, this is the archetype. This is what women fiction suggests, what ideal man is, precisely because It caters to women's universal, evolved sexual fantasies. It is a sexual fantasy. The ideal man is a sexual fantasy. Remember that. When engaging in sexual role-playing in the bedroom, few women ask that their male partners wear their Google C++ programmer uniform. They ask for the fireman suit to make its presence. James Bond, the epitome of toxic masculinity, does not cry at Taylor Swift concerts. His archetype is desired by women and envied by men. That's literally what James Bond is. He is a higher, should I say, toxic masculine and a high key thing. The inimitable equity feminist Christina Hoff Sommers wrote a book back in 2001 titled The War Against Boys: How Misguided Feminism is Harming Our Young Men. How prescient she was, there has been a relentless ideological attack on masculinity stemming from radical feminism. The most recent example, which is the bogus term toxic masculinity, it literally seeks to pathologize masculinity in ways that are profoundly harmful to the existential sense of self of young men. If a man witnesses a woman being attacked on the street, should he intervene? Well, according to the bogus feminist notion of benevolent sexism, it might be best to look away. Male saviors are likely oozing toxic masculinity. I should add that male criminals are not exhibiting toxic masculinity any more than female adulterers are exhibiting diabolical femininity. The great majority of men are attracted to feminine women. Yes, the great majority, like I would like to add 60 to 70% are all about feminine women. There are some about 20 to 30% who are attracted to a little masculine women, and there's the upper level, like 9 to 10% are obviously homosexual, who do not possess the body type of Michael Phelps. Beyonce is desired not because of her diabolical femininity, but simply because of her femininity. Similarly, most of the traits and behaviors that are likely found under the rubric of toxic masculinity are precisely those that most women find attractive in an ideal mate. This is not a manifestation of antiquated stereotypes. It is reality. It is a reality that is as trivially obvious as the existence of gravity, and no amount of campus brainwashing. Of course, this campus brainwashing thing, there's a lot of brainwashing going on in the campuses of US. I don't know if something similar is going on in other countries as well, but there is definitely something going on the college campuses in US and Canada. Instead, campus brainwashing will ever alter these facts. They will never alter these facts. Let us stop pathologizing masculinity. Instead, let us appreciate the endless ways by which men and women are similar to one another. Of course, they are all humans, so they will have some similar feelings, as well as the important ways in which the two sexes differ. Of course, like I've said, their interests differ, their own sexual preferences differ. Toxic masculinity and feminists are creating a huge problem for the next era. This is the Storyteller. Next time we will be back with no more reviews and cringe. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and peace.